God said to Abraham, kill me a son. Abe says, where do you want this killing done? And God says, out on Highway 61.
The Hunted began for me with having met Tom Brown, this tracker, about maybe 20 years ago. For many years, he's trained the Special Forces in survival techniques, evasion techniques, and in how to kill.
Heart, legs, down.
He's kind of a real-life Sherlock Holmes. He can detect footprints or indentations, less than footprints, and he can tell you what kind of shoe that person was wearing, what their emotional state of mind was when they were either standing or sitting, and he can come into a virtual empty room and profile that room in the same way that an Indian tracker can go into the forest and follow an animal or a person. I always felt that Brown's story was unusual because here was a guy that was very skilled at devising weapons and using them, but he'd never had to use them himself. And so we came up with a story that involves a character like him, played by Tommy Lee Jones, who trains a young special op, played by Benicio del Toro. This special op goes into a combat situation in Kosovo in 1999. And he sees so much killing and savagery that he loses it and is unable to think of people except as targets of opportunity. He becomes a fugitive, and the only guy who can bring him in is the guy who trained him.
The character of Tommy Lee Jones and Benicio del Toro have my skills. They're expert trackers, they're expert survivalists, they're great at escape, evasion, camouflage, using the skills of the ancient Native Americans.
It is said of L.T. Bonham that he's the best tracker in the world and can track ants across concrete and mice across a lawn. And I was instructed to believe that.
And I'm still not seeing Tom.
No, wait.
I did learn a few things about tracking animals and people in the forest where they actually leave tracks.
There comes a point when an actor who is as intelligent as Tommy Lee Jones is going to make that role his own. And in making that role his own, he absorbed some of the elements of Tom Brown, as opposed to, I would say, borrow. Tommy Lee basically took these things into the character that he was building.
I'm a big fan of Tommy Lee Jones. I've worked with him twice. He's the most intelligent actor I've ever worked with. He has innate instincts that he brings to whatever he does. By the time he gets to the set, he knows what the drill is, and he does it.
He's one of the best actors out there, you know. He just has that gift. And whatever he says, it's just like charges it with truth.
Good job. Thanks. He's one of yours, isn't he? Yeah. That's what I thought. He's our man? Yeah. Any idea why? No. That'd be your job.
Benicio, who I think is equally as impressive on screen, comes from a slightly different approach. He will interact with these people, he'll do a lot of reading about them, and he'll try to absorb everything he can about the character he's playing.
What is it you want to tell Mr. Bonham you don't want to tell me?
I'd like to talk to him about Operation Black Eagle, Mongoose, Cobra.
Shut up. You want to get yourself killed?
You do remember me, sir.
You were talking about shit that never happened. They're recording this, bud.
Good, then there'll be a record.
And that record will never say what you want it to say, will it?
Then what am I doing here, people?
We brought the character from black to gray, in a way. We just sat down and talked about how it was important that the character was not just a one-dimensional bad guy. And there were a couple scenes already in the script that allowed it to be, you know, you see that he's with this little girl and he's very gentle with the little girl. So, you know, we just went in that direction.
What track is that?
A squirrel.
That's right. See? Every 9 inches. That's the gallop pattern.
Oh, yeah.
Benny's a very fine young actor and a good pal and excellent company. It's a real pleasure to work with the best people, and he's certainly one of them.
I'm very interested in the details of how things work, and so I constantly try to get people who know how these things work involved with the making of these films. They can impart these very special skills to the actors. It gives the actors a lot of confidence to know that what they're doing is being validated by the guys they're playing.
I was so fortunate that Billy Friedkin had some contacts with the FBI, and they've been an immense help to us. They've been here donating their time because they're not allowed to be paid for their effort here on this movie.
You ever use that thing?
You mean, did I ever shoot anyone?
Yeah.
Would you ask a guy the same question?
Yeah.
Well, as a matter of fact, I have.
They're two opposing kinds of law enforcement people, really. There's a lot of respect. And also curiosity, you know. He does play some weird kind of guy who comes in from some woods out somewhere, you know, and into a very urban environment.
What's your relationship to Hallam?
I trained him. He's unusual.
He can kill anybody without regret.
Hallam has become emotionally dependent on the guy who gave him all of these survival skills.
Bonham, in teaching Hallam, gives Hallam a big piece of his identity.
Once you are able to kill mentally, the physical part will be easy. The difficult part is learning how to turn it off.
I don't think I can do this anymore. The nightmares are getting worse. I think I'm losing it, LT. I need to talk to you.
Hallam's tried to reach out to him, and the Bonham character has rejected all of these overtures because he, too, has had a crisis of guilt, which has caused him to stop doing that, stop training people how to kill. There are a series of letters that Hallam has sent to Bonham which represent his cry for help. When he saw himself going over the edge, the only one he could turn to was the man who taught him all these skills that have brought him to his present position of being riddled with guilt and unable to determine right from wrong. All of the letters that he sent went unanswered, but the revelation at the end of the film is that Bonham kept them all and read them all. He just didn't have an answer. The father is unable to offer any help because he's too wounded himself.